Okay, everybody, welcome to Fiber to the Podcast. I'm pretty excited today. I have Steve and Valerie Bolitho. Did I do that good? From FIS Blue here. I'm pretty excited. Bob, excited?
Super excited.
Can you show it a little? That's not fake enough. When I smile, if I show my teeth, it does not look fake.
I
can't show my teeth.
You're scaring me.
I have to be.
That's better.
There you go. That's nice.
So, Steve and Valerie head up, own FIS Blue. What year did you start?
2007.
See, I have trouble believing that because
it doesn't seem like that much time could have passed.
It doesn't, because, all right, what did you do initially? You didn't do what you're doing now.
No, I always opened with broadcast and military, but I was more heavy into the broadcast.
Okay.
That was my entry, and then now I would say we're more mil aerospace. So.
Ooh, that's pretty impressive.
It's pretty slick.
And you joined in on Mr. Bolitho.
Yeah, just when COVID hit, 2020. About.
Okay.
My secret weapon.
The silent killer?
He is.
He's so silent I don't have his email address, but you know.
That's right.
Did you get my email though? I kind of guessed it out. Did you get the one I sent you?
No.
Okay. See, if you notice, he's like the only person here not on the email list.
I'm pretty sure he's been.
No. Nope.
I've emailed him before.
No, you haven't.
Copied him or something.
I get your emails.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
I get your email.
See, those who work, we actually.
Yeah.
Hold on. Pull that one. So I have known. Bob, you started what year?
2016.
Do you remember the first time you met Valerie?
I don't. I think it was in the Monday morning meeting at some point. I think I was here for several months. I think you were down in Florida still.
Yes.
And I think you came to visit. Yes, I do recall.
And then I showed up at one of Bob's trainings.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
that was the day, right,
yes,
Bob?
We're gonna let that one go.
Worst day of his life.
We're gonna let that go.
Great power lunch we had.
Wow.
So I've known you, Valerie, since August 12th, 1996.
And I was wondering if I could take credit for discovering you.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people to take credit, but you're one of them. Tell them what happened when.
Well, I did interview you, and I had some concerns, so I called your references, and they were confirmed.
Yeah, they called my old boss. I will confirm John Bruno worked here, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Goodbye. I'm like, well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But we can get into the old job a little bit later. So Val and Steve.
Best decision we ever made, John.
Look at the smile there.
No, it's true, John.
It is
we
true.
love you. Yeah.
Oh, shucks, Bob. So, Valerie, tell them what FIS Blue does. So you're like do you consider yourself like a sister company?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we make products in the harsh environment realm, so anything ruggedized.
Right.
So we do the same things. We make all the passive equipment that you do, but we just do it in a ruggedized version.
Yes, I think military, mining, maritime, aerospace.
So it's
broadcast.
So what's funny is when I think about you guys, I think about you as broadcast first.
Yes,
but that's changed. That's shifted.
It has shifted, and when I opened the company, I wanted to make fiber optics cool, right? And how do you do that? It's kind of techy.
It's super cool.
It's not that sexy, right? So I said,
challenging.
well, 4K was coming out, and I was like, hey, they're going to start using fiber in broadcast. So I decided, let's jump in and see if I can.
And so Steve's history is?
A little bit different background. I was in the cruise industry for 20 odd years, well, almost 30 years actually.
Stop. I was told by somebody, maybe not Val, maybe, you were the face. Were you literally the face? You did the commercials, or what did you do?
I was one of many onboard, managers that were chosen by CLEAR, which was a Cruise Line International Association, where you would do press junkets, right? And so basically you'd go, they'd give you, a day of training on how to talk, cameras and everything else, and then they would send you off with a guide, and you'd have, 15, 20 different interviews you'd have to do over, 4 or 5 days. different cities, different TV stations.
I mean, he had a handler, he had a driver.
So like when they introduced him, like
couldn't trust me to do it on my own.
Yeah.
That's what he got.
did you hear like he comes out on the
Exactly like that.
come out the speedo?
He was ambushed by CNN.
Yeah, tell me that. How'd you get ambushed?
Well, the normal process for these interviews were they would be asking you questions about, vacationing, and in particular cruise lines, right? So it was all about what the experience would be, what people would, expect in the dining rooms and the entertainment and the ports and that sort of thing. So one of them was to go to, that company, right? And they started off asking me questions about an incident that had occurred on a ship, which I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah.
Right, and
Well,
it
you
had
got
nothing to do with the vacation experience, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So so I was.
Well, that's when sexual assaults were starting to get reported on ships, and they
Not that it
decided-
ever didn't happen before.
It always probably
But they were
did,
asking
right?
me
Yeah.
my opinion on a particular incident, which I was not aware of,
Yeah.
right? And we can only imagine what sort of response I think that they were looking for, right?
Yeah.
But I just
Not
said that
guilty.
I said I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know the particulars of it. It didn't happen on the ship that I was on. So that wasn't really what they were after. But
Yeah.
I sort of was able to get out of that one.
Yeah, so you beat Medicaid.
Yeah, exactly.
So how did you two meet? In Florida, right?
At a restaurant called the Cheese Course.
Yes.
The cheese course?
Yes, we met for coffee on a Sunday
cheese?
afternoon. And cheese.
Cheese?
No cheese, but yeah, coffee. Yeah.
All right, and that's how it started.
Yeah, and I ended up speaking for 55 out of the 60 minutes, I think.
Really?
Very nervous, but
It was a really relaxing date for me. I didn't say a word.
right.
It was right after Hurricane Irma, so all of our houses were pretty destroyed, and we canceled meeting. And he said, let's just give it one more chance and see if we can get together, and that was it.
And you met Hurricane Val.
well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Great answer.
That's why we get along
So-
well.
I made some questions here. I just want to make sure I get everything in that I want. I tend to think of things and I just forget to ask. So, what are your top products, your top customers, and it's a couple questions here. You started with what, 1 or 2 employees?
Yeah,
It was
2.
2.
Myself and one other.
Yeah. And how many do you employ?
So I would sell things, and then I had someone in the back making them.
Right.
I think we're up to what, 17 or?
Yeah, 17 staff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And growing.
So
right?
it's a super niche market, so it's not something huge, and I'm not looking to make another FIS because we all started. I'm having fun with the size it is, so
You're having
this
fun
is the
at
fun
work?
part. Yeah.
At work.
Yeah.
Huh.
When you
That's
actually.
possible?
Really sick.
Yeah. So, can you name your top customers or what?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been told that a lot.
Yeah. So we're under, pretty strict NDAs with the government contractors, but think of all the primes, right? So when you think of who's making missile systems or military equipment, so we sell to all the big guys, and then we sell to some, cool space companies. Our customer list is quite impressive, but again,
Oh, I know.
we're just selling passive fiber optics, so it's
Well,
not.
here's my problem with you guys. So when we go to our meeting and I hear about how we sold something to somebody that nobody cares about, and then we hear, we sold the Metallica concert, we sold all their video their camera. Oh, by the way, we're working with NASCAR. I get a little jealous with who you're
Right.
talking to. You get to do the coolest stuff.
But we never really get to meet anybody cool or do any. I was really hoping that it would get me
Yeah, well, I know.
something,
You
but it
know
just
how
didn't end up working out.
you
that way.
hobnob with the high end. I know, which still makes me. Anyways, give me a product overview. What do you offer?
So again, our core business is cable assemblies, and I would say the test equipment because we make a SMPTE tester.
Mm-hmm.
So specialized cable assemblies.
And evaluations and repairs and
Yeah,
things
big
like
repair
that. So-
business
a lot of
of
repairs,
cable
yeah.
assemblies. But really, I think the difference with Blue is an engineer will call us, they have an idea, we will do the drawing, we will, take it from A to Z and really walk with the engineers through the whole process and then make it. So we do a lot of first article inspections, a lot of military paperwork and really,
red tape.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know recently you have to like upgrade your computer.
Oh yes, we had to. We have to be NIST compliant, which is the high-end cybersecurity systems. We have a very high SPRS score, and these companies won't do business with you unless you have this. And then we recently just received our AS 9100D quality certificate. That's the aerospace designation in the ISO world. So, we really worked hard to get into this space.
That was quite an investment to have to. I remember when they were doing all that
yes.
stuff. It was super. That's another super thing where I get killed
Yes.
if I knew exactly how it happened. Now, who do you work with? Okay? So you make products, but you also sell other people's products. Who do you have lined up?
We are a distributor for Neutrik and Broadcast. We're one of their COCAs.
Big name.
Big name, yes. We in the military world, we sell for Delphi and Strand Technologies, and I would say there are two. We're an active distributor. All lines that we're not familiar with in our.
Well, that's the thing. Every time I have a question that relates to you, I just call up. I'll call Amato or something.
Yeah, because we grew up on STLCS.
You betcha.
Right?
You betcha.
And it's like, well, what is an HMA? What are we talking about? Yeah.
And so I'm a big Blue fan, and I always mention you in the classes, and
It's very
I have a
nice. Thank
couple.
you.
No problem. I have a couple SMPTE connectors because when we talk about EMI and how you can have the power and the fiber together and run the camera cables. Ready? What's SMPTE stand for, Bob? Society of Motion Picture Television Engineers. Pow. So those are your camera.
Very good, John. Nicely done.
So you guys do a lot of repair.
Yeah.
'Cause those are like $400 connectors.
Well, that's what I like to think of that. I believe that is what brought the high definition TV. When all the talent was going, oh no, now they're going to bring us in in 5D or what did they call it? What was the?
Well, they do 4D.
Okay, but when SMPTE came in, they were going to the pixelation was going to go crazy. And it was going to be so clear. High def is what I'm looking for. Yeah. So everyone got so nervous, and really that's what fiber ushered in was, clarity and
now 4K.
You can't hide your wrinkles.
And 4K's old now.
Yeah.
Right, there's 8K and then something new is coming after that.
It's
I can't keep up with
unbelievable.
it. Yeah.
But you guys do a lot of repairs because these expensive cables. We did have one podcast about cleanliness. It's got to stink when it was just a dirty cable, right? And they cost they're so heavy. But I have 2 samples that I use, and I always tell them the story behind the samples. It was a golf tournament, and they laid all the cables out, and the guy said, well, it's time to mow.
Oh, wow.
So the ones I have got mowed over at a PGA tournament, and I always tell everyone that we pay the mowing guys to go out.
To create an order.
And once they get those cables down, drop your blades really low. But that's a big amount of your business is just repairs, right?
Yes.
So.
And they call the expanded beam or the HMA connector the yogurt connector, because when you would go to the trade shows they would dip it in yogurt, wipe it off on their shoulder.
Yeah, because there's a lot of yogurt in the field.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I worry about it. I don't know if you guys
do you do a
are
lot
out
of expanded beam?
We do.
I never hear about it.
Oh yeah, no, that is that's probably our third most popular.
Is expanded
connector.
beam?
Yes.
Is it mostly military applications?
Both. So it's used in both applications, multi-mode, HMAs.
Really?
And some single mode is coming more and more in the aerospace.
Okay. Because I know expanded beam. You know about expanded beam?
Yes.
What does it do, Bob?
Why don't we educate our viewers on expanded beam?
Let me tell you, what do you know about expanded beam?
Well, I know that
Let's judge him here.
it's a particular type of connection or connector where there's 2 lenses on each connector.
Glass balls, correct? Yeah.
And the light, when they connect, the light goes, through the glass balls and makes the connection that way.
Now, to expand
what
on
you
that.
can do
Sorry, Bob.
is they can get, very dirty
Mm-hmm.
and still transmit light.
From what I understand, it hits the ball, it opens up right? It makes it a
Opens
wide,
beam,
and then
yeah.
it comes back together. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Essentially, right?
Essentially.
Impressed?
Yeah.
I know.
You did your homework.
I know. Okay, I need to talk about something that we come up with all the time. How do you compete against China's and the offshore products?
Yeah, so we're proudly made in the USA,
Right
and
here.
again, that counts when you're doing business with the government.
It does. They do take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
But what do you consider?
They stipulate it in some
But
situations.
how do they consider it a U.S. product? Like, does it have to be 100% the fiber,
so there's
the
different
connectors?
rules, right? So
Right.
we make the fiber, and
Yes.
because most of this is done on tactical cable, which we make right here on campus at TLC. So
Yeah.
that's all U.S. made. And then the connectors, most of our popular ones are made in the USA. So
Well, they are.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we really don't have a large import.
It's different for us.
Right, I know.
Because
They took that
there's connectors
market
from
over.
every-
Yeah.
And if you say, okay, the fiber's got to be U.S. fiber, that's the cheapest part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the labor. It's. I don't know how they would just. And is there a regulatory police that run around and say, like, that's not U.S.?
Well, I mean,
Or is it
I
up
guess
to
there.
you?
Well, I mean, the onus is on us because
You
we
have to
certify that it is made in the USA,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
So
and if you
it's on
find
us.
one that isn't, though, is it up to you to say, hey, this company's
Well,
not?
we are responsible for who we buy from, and
Okay.
yeah, so they have to substantiate where it's from, and we have to believe them
Yeah,
and stand behind
They
it.
need to give us the evidence before we move forward, right? So
Okay. I know every week we report on, what percentage we made and what is your manufacturing to resold percentage
I would
per
say
week?
80% of what we sell, we make, and 20% is distribution.
80%.
Yeah.
See, that's higher than us for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, again,
We're like 50-50.
niche market stuff. FIS is a different animal. I mean, people call you. I always say, and this is going to date me beyond belief, but I was here from the beginning. We were the Sears Roebuck catalog of fiber optics.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
when you need Kim wipes, alcohol,
But
air.
we're still in business.
A to Z.
That's right. Sears went out, and
Yeah.
we're still here. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but we don't. So we don't have the customers that call up and need something quick. We don't have the number of customers you have. I mean,
Right.
I call FIS the mothership, the giant, the reach beyond reach. We are just a little satellite
Wait,
company.
okay, so your pond's a lot smaller, but you're kind of a big fish in that little pond.
Well, because there's not many fish in there, so it's just a niche.
And is it exciting when you eat another fish?
Dinner always tastes good.
Oh, goodness, that's so refreshing. Okay, so one of the things, excuse me, one of the things we do well here, we're in New York State, so it's super easy to do business in the state. Sarcasm.
I caught it, yeah.
A little sarcasm. Do you do any of the symbiotic stuff with FIS? Do we work together? And
Yeah, so
we
I'm
share
always
resources?
trying to include FIS in any of our projects. So, I mean, we have limited resources and capabilities,
Right.
so if I get something, that I need help with, FIS is always the first place that I come to make the product or help us out.
So a customer could go to us to buy your product too?
Absolutely.
Because I know you're
yeah,
on a catalog.
yes, you are one. Well, I think you're our second largest customer. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
interesting to know.
Yeah. I mean, well, how many salespeople does FIS have?
20,
20.
25.
Yeah, so you're
plus.
out there selling every day.
Yeah.
So it's a great relationship. And I think the campus is so vertically integrated here
Yeah.
that we have so much power that people don't even realize. That's why getting customers to come in and actually see our capabilities is absolutely priceless.
I always say to anyone in class, if you're ever in the area, come.
Oh,
It's
yes.
shocking because everyone thinks it's common. Oh, you just resell people's stuff. And then you look at an entire huge building that's all manufacturing. And a
Yes.
whole cable company that's all making cable. And that's on the bright side so special. When we take the tour, people at the end, they're like, I didn't know.
Right.
I just didn't know.
Yeah,
The
we've
lead-
had,
go ahead.
we've had a couple of tours that we've just given this year, and at the end of every tour, after you've taken through all the facilities,
Yeah.
They'll make the statement that they didn't understand that there was so many different parts to this.
They thought we were a reseller of Chinese product.
Right, that's all that they think about us too.
Right. Well, I guess that's how you think of a catalog house, but we really evolved into more of a manufacturer.
I personally
who we are
think our
today.
strong point is, like you mentioned, getting something that nobody really makes or they need made, and we can design it and make it.
Yes.
That really needs to be almost a bigger focus.
Yeah.
When you look at our power with Risking the Arms and the metal projects and all the projects we get, and you guys are the same thing. They come in and they say, I need this.
But I think that's what you do well, right? Because people bring you opportunities and then you just start. I mean, you have so many more resources, right? You've got the metal fabrication, you've got a tool shop,
Plastic molding.
plastic molding capabilities. I mean, it's really incredible.
Yeah.
What was what was, say, perhaps, one of your more memorable or successful projects that FIS Blue is engaged in over the last several years?
That you can tell us without you getting
general
leg broke.
Yeah, so we've participated in some pretty large government contracts that have ended up in some really cool places that I would love to share, but and that's our most exciting. So, and I can't really give the details of it, but
understandable.
but that really gets us all very happy because
So basically, you just said nothing really. That's
I know, and I would love. I mean, believe me, I want to shout it from the mountaintops, but I don't want them.
The applications of the products, if you think about it, it could be all over the world. It could be under the ocean. It could be, on ships, etc. Right. So we're all over the place. Right.
So your background was the ships, the cruise lines.
Yep.
And I know that was one of your targets. How, after a year or so of doing that, have you really made headway into that?
Our business is growing. It's challenging to get people to understand that we actually produce product that meets the requirements for the maritime industry.
What is the requirement?
The product that goes on ships needs to be approved through a classification society, right? And they have to look at it. It could be a chair. Right?
Why? Is it because of safety aspects?
Yeah, it's all safety.
Insurance. So it's like, it has
no
to
Titanics.
be right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when he said to me, "We need to get the cable certified," I said, "That is too expensive, too hard. It'll never happen." He said, "Let me just give it a shot," and within 6 months, we had our certification. He didn't make a big deal about it. He went at it realistically.
Bulldog.
Done.
Yeah. So you send them a sample, and then they almost like UL.
Yes, it's like
provide
a UL.
them with you got to provide them with the test results and the construction of whatever the product is, and and then they'll look at it and they'll say, okay, this meets the safety requirements that the international requirements that you must have in order to put that product on board. And again, just using a chair because it's simple to think about it. That has to, the manufacturing of that has to have products that aren't going to just catch on fire and let everything else catch on fire. It really is all safety related.
So think of plenum, low smoke, zero halogen, all those things
Well,
is what they're looking for.
Being a fireman for 30 plus years.
Well, you both have that in common.
You're
both fire brigade.
I was a volunteer, fireman in Australia, but that's another story.
Do you use buckets or?
we have horses and a big tank, right?
Do you put the bucket in the pouch of the
kangaroo
and they bounce it over?
It's pushing it a little bit too far.
Is that? I stepped over it.
Yeah, we have lines of kangaroos just waiting to put the bucket in there.
The kangaroo brigade?
Yeah, that's it.
Do they put little helmets on them? I picture them with little helmets.
Yeah.
Little boots.
Little boxing gloves.
Well, being firemen, everything. When we talk to firemen like from the 70s and 80s, they're like, houses were wood. Stuff was wood. Now it's all carcinogens, and like your average couch is like the equivalent of like 10 gallons of gasoline, right? So I'm assuming that's all the stuff in the maritime world that they have to.
Yes.
You don't want a blazing ship.
Yeah, there's no. Remember, you can't. A ship on fire is the worst scenario because
what do you do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've had a couple of fires on ships this year, but they have been contained. They had one on the Icon of the Seas, the largest cruise ship in the world, probably a month ago.
Yeah, I gotta remember that one.
Yeah, no, I just happened to catch it on the news, and they were able to get it under control and get it out.
They're really good.
Keep cruising.
They're the cruise industry is exceptional at what they do,
Yeah.
at dealing with these sort of situations. They have, they're training all the time, they're doing drills all the time,
Right.
and then again, the product that they put on board in every application, they really make sure that if something bad was to happen, it's minimized, right?
Do they have lifeboats? I've never
Yeah.
been.
God, yes.
I've never been on a cruise.
They got
You
enough.
have they train you before you will take off on your cruise. You
On how to
have to
escape.
go on how to get on the lifeboat.
They
I've never-
have lifeboats, John. What,
I would
they're getting
assume.
on the Titanic.
I would assume.
There's enough lifeboats and life rafts for everybody on board.
So Bob, would you be the guy that played his guitars and went down, or would you pretend to be a girl and put like a skirt on? Because that'd probably be just shaving real quick and then just pushing women and children out of the way. You're gonna need me later.
I'd probably play the guitar.
You'd be the guy going down.
Yeah.
It's easy to say because it's never gonna happen.
Yeah. Right.
So, I think the world needs to know, Valerie. What did you do here at FIS before you started Blue?
Before I started Blue. Okay, well, let me tell you how I came to FIS. I was a U.S. Customs agent, straight out of college.
She carried a gun.
I carried
She
a
carried a
gun,
gun.
Nice.
and
Oh, yeah.
I had done a multi-agency drug raid in Syracuse, New York, at 5 in the morning.
Now, was that? Did they find drugs and stuff?
Oh
or-
yeah,
Okay.
I mean it was a big
Big deal.
takedown.
Okay.
Running into houses with guns, the whole nine. And
Val knows how to take you down.
Right.
Oh,
John
yeah.
knows this.
physically and verbally.
Right.
Yeah, both
So
ways.
I was 23 years old. I said, what have I done with my life? How did I end up here? So I got in the car. I was living in Buffalo at the time. I got in the car. I drove to the little house
Yeah,
that
when we
was
were a dinky
FIS.
little
There was
fake
3
thumb
people
print.
that worked here.
Really?
I walked in my raid gear, and I said to my dad, can you please give me a job? I can't do this anymore. I don't
Yeah.
like it. And he said, sure, you can run the international department.
Which didn't exist.
I said, great, what's that? He said, we don't have one. And so that's how I came in. So I worked with Sue, who's still here.
#1 employee. She was the first employee and she's still here.
Yeah, so she trained me in sales.
Yeah.
So I started out just picking up the phone, and then we had to do international sales via the fax machine.
Oof.
There was no internet.
Oh, there was no email and anything. Yeah, that's
Nothing.
right. I
No
never
email.
thought about that.
Yeah.
How do you get a hold of?
The phone, which was always dicey, so there was
Yeah.
phone calls and there was faxes. So when we would hear the ding,
Yeah. Oh my God.
we have an order.
Yeah.
We have an order.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Did you have a beeper?
I think we all had beepers
Okay,
at one
just-
time in our
just
life.
checking.
I'll tell you my beeper story. So when you're little, you wear a lot of hats. I did it, rentals, sales. Oh, IT, by the way? Yeah. And I got a beeper because if I was out training and there was an emergency with the computers, right? So I'm in the middle of class and like, boop, 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 boop. I'm like, yeah, company can't survive without me. So during a break, I called up, no cell phone, so I found a phone. And I got a receptionist. Yeah, you know that TV show such and such? Yeah, we've been killing ourselves. Who's the actor? I'm like,
Oh my God.
so I was way up here, and it was like, and then woo, and they came back, and they all want to know what's going on, and I'm like, well,
Yeah. Hopefully you made something up.
the TV show NYPD Blue. And I'm like, oh my God, and I got ripped on that one. Yeah, I don't think my beeper ever was used for what it needed.
Does that
to
happen
do.
at training a lot?
What's that?
You get ripped on.
All the time.
Oh, okay.
All the
All right.
time.
He's a glutton for punishment.
I am. I'm my own worst enemy.
Well,
I can take it.
I was blessed enough to be here for all of FIS's firsts, like seeing us
Yeah.
grow from a tiny seed
Yeah.
into who we are. And I was blessed to be at John's first training at the Bright Side
Yeah.
ever.
No pressure there.
And,
No pressure.
and it was so funny. And I really wish you would share the story of how
is
the
this the
first
yell?
one went down.
The
This is
yell?
the yell. This is the infamous yell, by the way.
All right. This isn't one of my prouder moments, Steve. And I have a lot of those not proud moments. So we were...
I think we filled up the class. I mean, it was full.
Yeah. And Greg Bowie was up there, and it was time to go. A group was going to go, and they decided to hike up the crags way up on top of the cliff. And Billy's like, well, where's Greg? He's got the keys. Oh, okay, hold on. Can you get him? Yeah. So I walked to the back of the door, and I just went, Billy! And you hear the echoes, and he's like, what? You got the goddamn keys! okay, I'm coming. I'm like, took care of it, Val, and I look at her, and her face is,
And all the customers were like,
John,
wow.
we don't scream across mountains. This isn't Walton's Mountain. And I went, oh, professional. Yeah. Yep.
And we got better from there.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful up there. I mean, Ray talked about how, what was their goal? Was like $5,000 a week. What did you have a goal in?
Yeah,
international?
and then it went to 10. I can remember I started, we were doing less than $1 million in sales. So
For the whole company?
For the whole
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
So our goal was to become $1 million company.
Right.
Which, I mean, today that would probably be like 5 million with.
Oh yeah, with
Inflation,
inflation.
yeah,
It's about 180 million with inflation at this point.
Yeah, right.
And
A
then you
week.
move. Well, go ahead.
A week, yeah.
A week. Yeah. And then you went.
From international, and then I became, I think, did I go to vice president of
I'm
sales?
trying to remember.
I don't know. I think that
And
was
what was
next.
your nickname
Yeah.
as vice president of sales?
Would that have ice in the name? Is that the loving?
It was either princess or queen. It depended on the day.
I mean, I realized that my office was a couple degrees colder than the rest of the floor.
Very chilly. Yeah, I go in there to cool down sometimes.
Listen, I always thought firm but fair and fun.
And the fun, Bob, you missed it. We used to have all these different contests, and my favorite was the Star Wars contest.
Yeah.
We had a Star Wars contest, and if you got a certain amount of order, dollar amount, I bought 2 lightsabers. And these are, just let you know, because people want to know this. One was Obi-Wan Kenobi's, one was Darth Vader's, red and blue, right? And if you got it, you got to do like a lightsaber battle, and they used to go boom, 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 and right? And Valerie's like, well, yeah, we have bonuses and stuff. And I went, I don't want to be part of the bonuses. She's like, what? I go, I just want the lightsabers when they're done. Is that funny to you?
I mean,
kind of
Take
a
the
big
money,
deal.
John. Take
Kind of-
the
yeah.
money.
it's kind of expected. I'm not surprised.
So they come with little mounting things for the wall. So I mounted them in my daughter's room on the wall. So
Yeah.
there's 2 lightsabers in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so they turned 16 on the 4th, and my one daughter's like, I don't want the lightsabers in my room anymore. I'm like,
Probably broke your heart.
oh, it destroyed me. I was like, oh.
So now they're in your room, hung, mounted.
No, back in the original boxes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
packed away
Wow.
perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
we would have competitions where the losers would have to wash the
Boo's
winner's
car.
car. One year the losers had to dress up as Boy George.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And sing Karma Chameleon.
Karma Chameleon.
I mean,
Bob, it was great. If you see the video, like there's like 10 of them standing at the top of the stair, at the top of the elevator.
Yeah.
And then as the music comes, they come out of the elevator. There's like 10 more that come out. It was pretty awesome. You just seen Kirk. Kirk was the best Boy George I ever saw.
and I think my favorite one, again, in the quest to be famous,
Yeah.
was if you won the sales contest, you got to star in your own
Oh,
music
God, I
video.
forgot about that. John Provenzano.
John Provenzano won.
Yeah.
And he starred in a Kid Rock video.
Oh,
What was
God,
the
that
name?
is such a famous one.
What was
I
the
don't
name of
even-
the Kid Rock? Cowboy.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to be a cow.
So
yeah.
we had a film crew. We made the whole video,
Yeah.
and it was
But he
so
also
much fun.
had the long blonde hair wig on, and he had, I think, a beer or something,
Oh, yeah.
or a
Well,
goblet.
I'd always had a
Do you
beer.
remember where they stopped? We were videotaping, and he stopped at his sister's hairdressing place
Yes.
and came
Oh,
in
yeah.
as
Yeah. And then we went
Pro
to
Rock or whatever it was.
and then we went to the studio, and he sang. Oh, it was great.
God, there's so many things we've done. That was so
I don't even
awesome.
think it would be fun. I don't know if anyone would even be interested in doing those
Well, we
things today.
said, we talked about it. It was like, well, any of this stuff, the younger guys would be like, what?
I know.
They
I
wouldn't-
feel like we're at the point where like we walked to school barefoot
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah,
like we're
we're-
those stories now, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
You don't think you're gonna be there, but we're kind of there.
Yeah. I've known you since I was 26.
And it's crazy how like you went into your 50s
54.
and I'm still in my 30s. I don't know
Yeah.
how that worked out,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, I know Benjamin, your son, just graduated.
Yes.
Amazing that you were a mom at 14.
Exactly.
Yeah. You were a mom at 14. He's 18.
Yes, and your triplets just turned 16.
16.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
they all
remember
got-
they were like 8.
I remember when they were born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and so the 3 of them took their test yesterday, And all I kept saying is, please don't let one fail. Because I would be able to go home.
You have to worry 3 times.
Yeah.
For everything.
So Julia texts me, I passed. And I'm like, great. Did everyone pass?
Yes.
And Christina got a 16 right out of 20, which is, that's the line. If you got 15, you fail.
All right. So they're driving. They're going to be driving.
Oh, yeah. And I said to my wife, what'd you do? Well, I let them all drive a third of the way home.
Oh, God.
It's 30 miles, so they used to do like 10 miles. How'd Julia do? Fantastic. Elizabeth, not as great. Christina, I yanked the wheel about 20 times so it wouldn't go into the ditch.
Oh.
I think John Deere riding lawnmowers, what they're going to need to practice on first.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand the concept of turning. Right?
It's hard. Learning to drive is not easy.
You should learn with my mother.
There.
So I painted for a guy. He was my soccer coach, gym coach, and he did painting in the summers. I painted for him, and he was the drive red guy. And I said, Coach, I can't. Mom can't teach me to drive. Bruno, get in the car. And okay, here's how you do this. Parallel, pow, 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 do this, pow, 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 do it. He's like, so you don't need that driver head. You got it all. And I passed first time, so I couldn't have Mom do
That's
it.
excellent.
I couldn't have Mom do it. She's ripped my head off. Tough love.
We should bring that back. We ruined our kids. We were so
Oh my
sweet
God, yes.
and nice to them, and now they can't do it.
Yeah, my daughter works at a pizzeria. 12 hours at the most a week, 3 days, 4 hours.
Super
It's the
stressful.
hardest thing she's ever done in her life. They expected me to answer the phone, and I don't know the abbreviations for pepperoni and sauce, and I'm like, you work 4 hours.
It's gonna get so
I brought
much
the
harder.
cheese out, and I spilled a little cheese, and I thought I'm like, if it's that hard to work at a pizzeria, what are you going to do when you get older? So I've ruined my children. They're ruined.
We all did it. We all did
They'll
it.
get used to it.
Guilty.
Yeah, Now, next question. Where is your industry, like, what do you see as, like, emerging technology? Like, what's that, and, like, are you working on anything new?
Yeah, so Blue specifically is developing new product. I can't say what it is
Right.
just yet, but we will be making
Can
big
you say, like,
announcements.
what industry is it for?
Well, it will be for broadcast and for the military.
Oh, both.
So,
Okay.
we're making products that we are now distributing. We'll be
Yeah.
actually making, which is,
How long till that you launch?
I
that?
would say 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
great.
yeah,
Yeah, we've got some prototypes and stuff that we're...
yeah, we're just
When did you start
testing
it? Like,
phase.
how long is the process?
probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
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 So we're almost done with the R&D, and we're just getting the pieces in
Okay.
and getting it together. So we are very excited about that because it always makes you stronger when you actually make the components and the
Oh, yeah.
assemblies. Yeah.
What new products, like, that you don't already sell? Is there any other market?
Again, we're so niche
Yeah.
that it's not as exciting as your industry, where you can say, oh, I want to go into fiber in the home and I want to
Yeah.
build a cabinet.
Wind
We're-
power.
Right,
yeah.
right. So we're really in this smaller, that's not as, fun.
So, one of my favorite stories in the history of mankind is, I always ask, like, what was your worst travel? Like, okay, Steve, what was your worst travel experience? You've traveled.
Oh, yeah, but probably when I was in the maritime industry and
Uh-huh.
going through, tropical storms and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I can't.
We're going to talk about airports, probably. I think that's where he's going.
So have you been through some doozies?
Yeah.
And you're talking just up and down.
Yeah, it's, well, when you walk along the public areas and it is empty,
Yeah.
so there's no guests around or just a few, and,
Because they're all hunkered down?
yeah, because
Well, they
it's,
get ordered to their rooms.
Yeah.
So the first time I started going on ships with him, and everyone who works on a ship, they don't recognize the rough seas. They pretend it's not happening.
Yeah.
So I thought I was in, I was like, am I imagining this? And I said to him, hey, this is pretty rough. It's not good. And he was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just a little lumpy. That's it. And you're like this.
Do you have tethers that, like, if you're outside, you have to, like, if it's really bad, like, you lock yourself to, like, a railing or?
you're deck department, if they felt that, you know, the guys going outside would be at any risk, they would take the appropriate safety precautions. But I can tell you that, you know, being on a vessel that's on a list for hours,
Like this.
right?
Oh,
Like on the
tipping?
side. List is, yeah.
List
Is it because they took out water? Or just,
No,
just the waves.
Just the wind.
Really?
You know, remember, you've got all that surface area, and you've got a lot of very strong wind blowing against it.
So you're constantly like this?
It's like a big sail, right?
Yeah.
So when you're like that for hour on hour, right?
No chance.
And you've got chairs and tables and other
Flinging.
things, you know, maybe, you know, rolling down and hitting the side, you know. So, yeah, I've been in a couple of situations where it's been pretty bad.
Okay, one of the ones I wanted to ask is, have you ever been on one where a guy fell off? Because you hear about that every once in a while. Sometimes they get pushed off, you know. Sometimes they fall off.
I never had an experience where somebody actually did,
Right.
you know, either, you know, fall in or jump off. We had a couple of situations where there were false alarms, where people were calling and saying that they saw somebody.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And in that situation, you've got to then account for all the passengers, all the crew.
Oh my God.
You know, and so that, you know, depending on,
How many people are on the ship?
well, today it's,
Counting crew, a couple
today it's
hundred?
5,000.
in the thousands.
You can put 5,000 people on
Is
a
that the
ship.
new
Yep,
ship? Yeah,
yep, yep,
capacity,
yep.
yeah.
Over that.
So how do you can't account for everybody.
How long
You
are these
can.
ships approximately?
You can.
A couple of football fields, I
Yeah.
mean, long. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Wow.
huge. So did you know that ships had jails?
No.
The brig.
Yeah, they have
He used to
morgues,
put people
they have-
in the morgue or the brig.
you know,
Was it usually drunk people?
Yeah.
it's got to be pretty bad for you
To get there.
Yeah, I mean, normally they'll try to diffuse a situation, tell people to go back to their cabin. You know.
Right.
You really have to be a risk to everybody around you for them to put you in the brig.
And you can end up in a straitjacket. They
No
had
kidding.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
So there's like a security crew on it?
there's
Yeah,
a whole.
yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be like a badge of honor. Like, I went to the brig.
Well, in Philadelphia, that's the football field. The stadium has a jail.
Oh,
The
wow.
Eagles have a
They probably
jail.
need 2 jails.
So again, back to my favorite story ever, Valerie. Let's talk about travel experience. One of them comes into mind is Minnesota.
Okay.
Can we talk
yes.
about that?
We
So,
certainly can. I'd
This
love to
involves
talk about
Kirk, and he's on vacation this week because I wanted him to come in while we told this story so he could give us his side, but there really isn't a side for him.
No. I mean, it was so scary. Yeah. The snowmobile.
Yeah. It was 3M's place in Minnesota. Was it the
It was called
Osaga?
Wanawalk.
Wanawalk.
Yeah.
Why do I think
And so they took
Osaga?
us on a guided snowmobile. Yeah, it's in Cooperstown.
That's right.
They took us on a guided snowmobile ride. So they had a guide in the front, a guide in the back,
Yeah.
and I was in the middle going medium speed.
But you got to remember, Kirk's Tony Tough guy when it comes to
And I said to
snowmobiles because he
Kirk-
has one. He
Yeah.
has one.
I said, Kirk, I don't ride. Please stay with me. Famous last
Easy
words.
enough request.
Kirk was up there with the leaders, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the dust, eating
Oh, yeah.
people's snow.
Rooster tailing.
Right.
They call it rooster tailing. Yeah, you're just wrecking her.
I
Wrecking
mean,
her.
gone.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I came to the trails where I had to make a decision. Did they go right? Did
Yeah.
they go left? I went left. They must have went right.
So we're in a very rural area at this point, the woods of Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah.
And we went on a 4:00 ride. So by 6,
Dark.
it's dark.
Pitch dark.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I stop. I try to find a tree. Where am I going to sleep tonight? There is no one. There is
Oh my
no
God.
one.
How
on
much
this.
gas? How much gas? Sorry, folks. That's the one thing I can't. Right in the worst part.
That's Kirk.
No, yeah, Kirk. No, it's a fire call. I can't.
yeah.
I can't silence fire calls. I'm sorry, but I'm. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, I understand that. So anyway, I hung out in the woods alone for about an hour, and then I started to drive again, and it's dark. Finally, I come across 2 other snowmobilers. And, they're in their helmets. You can't see who they are. So my fear was,
I'm gonna get killed.
are they going to be crazy?
Exactly.
Are they going to be rapists and murderers?
Are they burying a body right now?
Right. So the guy, and they were the nicest guys in the world, but he takes off his helmet and he's got a big, long head of hair. I go, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead. I don't know why. It just scared me. And
What
they
did you
were,
say to him when you saw him?
I'm lost. Could you help me get back to Wanawalk? I mean, he's
And they
like,
knew where it was.
well, he said, I think I've heard of the place, but it took us 2 hours to
Oh,
get
see,
back.
that I never knew. 2 hours.
And we had to break trails. So he was like, I think it's over here. There's not a trail system.
You were going through fresh snow. Yeah.
Fresh snow,
Yeah.
down mountains on the side. Like, I was barely on the sled. I mean, it was terrifying.
Oh.
Okay.
So we make it back. Now there's search parties out for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a
Yeah.
5-alarm fire at the Wanawalk, right? Even Kirk by this time. Now Kirk's, back from the ride, drinking beers. He thinks all's good. Doesn't really know I'm gone, but then realizes, wow.
Yeah.
So now we come over the lake. Me, the 2 killers, and me. We're the nicest guys. And Kirk is like standing there. Oh my God! I thought you were dead. I'm like, so did I. And I guess he was planning on taking my office.
So-
or like,
Yeah.
what was he was talking smack on the knock. Yeah.
Even after he was like, one of the guys said, "Where's Valerie?" He's like, "I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to prepare myself for that bigger office." He goes, "Promotions are coming."
Oh my
Ha
God.
ha ha ha! And then realized that she could have froze to death
Yeah.
or ran out of gas.
My
or-
mother to this day, Kirk, I still haven't forgiven you for leaving Valerie in the mountains.
Yeah, Kirk's always a good one. I have so many Kirk stories. Like when we were down in Bixby, Florida, Orlando, and he goes, "Well, we got like 4 hours. Let's just go down to such and such. There's like the walk or something. We'll get an ice cream or a soda." Okay. And a couple pulls up next to our car as we're getting out, and it scares him, and he shuts the door really quick. Lock the keys in the car. Yeah. So we called a service, and it's 104 degrees, and he's locked his keys in the car more times. Every time I travel with him, I'm like, "You have your keys?" "Yeah." I won't get out of the car until I see him jingle the keys. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun times on the road.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to bring up
definitely-
one that you haven't thought about in a long time, but so being a country boy, I never traveled anywhere, hardly ever out of New York State. And I think my second trip ever out of the state for work was with you, and it was San Francisco.
Yeah, that was a great trip.
Anything about that trip? You remember?
Well, I know we had an insane cab driver.
Yep, my favorite man in the world. This dude was, he knew like Henry Rollins. He used to be in a punk band. So
I'm not sure any of this is true, by the way, but John was buying all of them.
I'm in.
All right, yeah. I believe
And-
He was
and so-
fully invested.
We were talking about like the Dead Kennedys, and I'm singing these punk songs, and he's like, "I love that." He's punching the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and Valerie's going,
I'm like, we're going to die. We're going to die.
yeah. And we're like, "You want to come in the bar?" And Valerie's, and he's like, "Oh," and he was so close, and yeah, he was just flying through San Francisco. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she,
And so then we get in the bar, and we had a classic buoy.
Josie. For some reason, my debit card's not working, Josie. I don't understand what's going on.
If I could just have $100 today, I will pay you next week.
I'll pay you if you give me a hamburger today. I will pay you. Yeah. We went to Alcatraz.
I think I was mad at you both by then, and I put my
Miserable,
headphones on.
mad, super mad.
I mean, because of the behavior again. Who could control these guys,
I
right?
know.
I mean, it was out there. So I
Especially
just
back then.
walked around the jail by
The one
myself.
bar we went to had like 112 beers on tab.
And they
You
had
gotta
all
try to-
112.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta try to
Yeah.
put a dent in there.
Yeah.
I remember getting back from the airport. We were riding together, and I was driving, and you were like, "No, you're going the wrong way." And I'm like, "No, it's this way." You're like, "Oh," because you just wanted out
I
a
was
week
done.
in San Francisco.
Please send me home.
Yeah. So, other question. You're 98% famous. Like you're almost 100%.
Oh, okay.
You like to rub. Who did you rub with? I've heard some really good ones.
Wow, okay. And what do you mean?
Famous people. You're
Like that
always
I've met?
bumping into famous people all the
Yeah,
time.
but I don't speak to them because I don't want to bother them. I mean, I live in Miami. I see famous people all the time.
Like,
I mean,
who's some of the basketball players?
I mean,
you met?
LeBron James,
Yeah.
Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the
Chris
other?
Bosh.
Chris Bosh.
The big
They were
three.
having lunch next to me at a table,
Yeah?
the three of them.
Wow.
So that was really
Yeah.
cool.
You didn't say hi or anything?
No.
I would.
You played it cool. Oh, I'd be
Yeah,
all
I
like-
always play it cool. Well, it was funny
Yeah.
when I first moved there. I went to a steak restaurant, and they were kind of. I had a reservation, and they were kind of pushing me to the side, and they were like, oh, Mr. James, and like pushing this big guy in front of me. I was like, who's this dude? It was
Who's he
LeBron.
think he
I was a little bit mad. I was like, come on, I got a reservation. And then it was the king.
They're like massive.
Massive.
When
You
see them
cannot
on
appreciate
TV,
it.
No, when
Yeah.
you see them in real life, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're huge.
And on the court, like a 6'5" guy looks short.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He's like us.
Yeah.
And Dave Portnoy moved to Miami, and I see him around, but I have not seen the famous Miss Peaches yet. But that is my goal.
I love Dave Portnoy. You know Dave Portnoy, right?
Barstool Sports.
Barstool
Yes,
Sports.
Yeah.
So there was I'll say something nice about the man. There was in Syracuse, I don't know if you saw this a couple months ago, 2 cops got killed.
Yes.
And my buddy was his partner, and my buddy was going to be a doctor, so he worked on him in the ambulance all the way to the hospital, and he passed away.
Yeah.
And he's still traumatized. But Portnoy designed a T-shirt, and they raised like $1 million.
Yes.
Just in T-shirt
yes.
sales alone.
I mean,
for
and
that
is so
family.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, he does some great things. With
Yeah,
his
say what
success.
you want, one way or the other, like him or dislike him, you can't discount what he did. All the proceeds went to that family.
Yeah, and he does that a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and when one of his enemies goes down, he pops open a bottle of champagne and celebrates their defeat, which I
Right.
think
But
is very funny.
How can't you appreciate that?
I think
Yeah.
I mean that he has the guts to do it.
Yeah, or you could be the guy like, well, I feel for the man. No, you know it. You loved it. So one of the things when I give a tour, I get a lot of attitude from one. You know who I'm talking about in your manufacturing facility. She's
Yeah, she's our
bulldog.
real world Rosie.
Yes. It always says ITAR on the side here. You can't. I know. I'll be like, I can't come in. They're working on something. What is ITAR?
Yeah. Well, it's
International Trafficking in Arms Regulations.
Which means what?
it means that we deal with drawings that are controlled
Okay.
by the arms, the DLA or
Yeah.
whoever, and that we can't show them or have anyone on the floor that is not trained and cleared for ITAR.
Right. So
So you get kicked out. I'm
Even
sorry,
John
John.
Bruno- John
Even
Bruno.
John Bruno can't go there.
well.
Yeah, you got a lot of different obligations. When you have NIST, right?
Yeah.
And you're also manufacturing things that have to fall under ITAR, right?
Right.
There's a lot of controls there, right? So
Right. So everyone that's in that room has
Been certified. Yeah.
Certified.
Everyone that works for the company has been certified.
Because
Yeah.
you said something like, well, if someone walks in, we have to log their name in and the time.
Well, we have
and-
to. Yeah. No, we have to.
Yeah, that's.
but that's just part of being,
AS 9100D. Which
Yeah.
you
Well, that's
have
part.
to sign
That's
in.
not necessarily ITAR. That's.
You're not allowed on the floor if you're
I know,
ITAR.
I
Right.
know. I
And
feel
but
like it's
AS
a personal
9100D, every single person has to sign in.
I think that when they see me, they just put things in the windows, and I think it's personal.
Well, they know. They
Yeah.
know the training schedule.
So, where do you see FIS Blue in 10 years from now? How many
Again.
employees?
Yeah, I have so enjoyed staying small and making money like that.
Okay.
That because it's the greatest feeling to have impact and just
So you don't have any aspirations of being
to make
50
another
million?
FIS. No,
Yeah.
I mean we made the best.
Yeah.
Why would I
Yeah.
want to remake that, right?
I have a mechanic who's the greatest mechanic in the history of mankind. He's fantastic. And I said something to him, and he goes, I've realized I'm happy, I've done well, I don't need more work for myself. He just,
Yeah.
you don't hear that a lot. He's
Right.
just like, I'm not taking new clients,
Right.
I take care of their vehicles, and I go home, and they used to work 6 days a week, like 12 hours a day. Now he works 5 days a week, and he goes, it's the greatest decision I ever made.
I think you get to an age and you make the decision, if it's not fun or bringing me some level
Yeah.
of joy, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. No, I
So
know.
that's kind of where we're
I
at. So
know.
we're just having a great time. I have my secret weapon. He goes out and gets all the fancy named accounts, and
Amato?
that would be Steve.
I know.
And Amato, yeah.
Well, he has an in because he's got that fake accent,
Oh,
right? Like,
yeah.
when you hear, I don't know so much about Australian.
I
when
was
you hear-
waiting for this.
When you hear a British accent, you ought to assume
Smarter.
10 more.
Smarter.
Right, 10 more IQ points. Not so sure about Australian, but it does. It's like an in. Like, ooh, I know you're not from Australia.
I know.
The good news is they sound so good that even
Yeah.
if they're talking crap,
Yeah,
it
you're just
sounds
like,
good.
well,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
like,
it has to be the
oh,
truth.
he's so
Yeah.
he's so smart.
And if you talk really fast, people don't understand you anyway. So it's really
I'm
good.
just saying it right now, honestly. Where in Australia did you grow up? Or just
I grew up in a small country town about 2 hours north of Melbourne, not so much dissimilar to this area in that there was a lot of farming, right? So
Yeah.
So it's called Echuca, and
Yeah.
we're from Utica. So it's like near,
yeah.
it's very
So
interesting.
is Echuca an Aborigine? Right?
Right.
It's Aborigines, right? That are in,
Aboriginals, yeah.
is that an Aboriginal name?
yeah, it was the local Aboriginals that historically lived in that area. It was a word that basically means meeting of the rivers, because there was 3 rivers that joined in that one location where the town was. It was called
Right.
Echuca.
Oh, that's cool. So did you ever see an Aborigine?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah?
So have I.
Went to school
so,
with them,
Really?
right?
Yeah, they're much like our American Indian
Yeah.
population.
Yeah, right.
So,
That's how I think. Is it like Crocodile Dundee type, where you just walk in there in the middle of the...
well, that's what Steve
Oh
thinks he
yeah.
is, so.
He's Crocodile Dundee?
I mean, have you seen his knife?
No, I haven't seen it.
I
That's
can't
not a
show it.
knife. This is a knife.
Yeah, that's right.
Another thing, you ready for this, Bob? Watch this. Foster's. Australian for beer.
Okay, that's a little, rude.
I hear
They
that
don't-
Foster's is like a horror, like no one.
No one drinks it. Not one Australian drinks Foster.
Yeah, and that's what we've been told. Like, oh, you go to like Outback Steakhouse, give me a Foster's.
Yeah, yeah.
There are no blooming onions in Australia.
Now, are Australians offended by Outback Steakhouse? I heard there was
Oh,
some.
there we go.
Yeah, because it's not really a representation of the food that you get in Australia.
Yeah,
Right, so-
They really do put shrimp on the Barbie. Huge barbecuers. They know how to barbecue like nobody
Yeah,
else.
We barbecue, but again, it's not the food's,
Kangaroo.
cooked a little bit differently, prepared
Yeah.
a little bit differently.
Everything
Yeah.
is very fresh. And
Have you eaten kangaroo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is it good?
yeah.
What did we eat the last time we were there that was really different?
Emu, I think.
What was it?
Emu? No, I think it was like,
Oh, the Moreton Bay bug. Is that what you're talking about?
What is a Moreton Bay bug?
Lobster tail. It's a lobster in
I
the
got
lobster
it.
family, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does it taste like lobster?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of butter.
yeah.
but it sounds so gross, doesn't
It does. Oh, when you hear the bug, yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah.
One time a guy said, you gotta try this. Italian guy, used to be my high school English teacher. What is it? Cow brain.
Oh, yeah.
Deep fried. And you have to try it, because he's calling
You
me
don't
out.
have to do anything.
And it just,
Right, exactly.
I like hamburgers. Like, I can go my whole life eating pizza and hamburgers. I
Right.
don't need to eat a cow, but I had to try it, and it was...
Was the
They got a
texture
name
worse
for it. What is it?
Sweetbreads.
Is that
Sweet?
it?
No. Is it sweet
It is. It is.
Is that what our producer's telling us, that it's sweetbread? Yeah, and it was like a not as dense chicken almost. And-
Look at deep fried anything is passable.
Yeah.
True.
Oh yeah. Oreos. Try it.
That's a good
All
start.
right. This is my favorite part. We're gonna do Beat the Bob. I decided to call this Beat the Bob.
Yeah.
So, update on the Gray Words podcast. I never gave a score. You got kind of crushed by it, right? It was like 13-5. Or
No,
something.
it was like 9-6.
No, oh my, no, don't make me go back to he had 13, I know he had 13.
We'll go back to the tape another time.
So I've got a list of questions now. To be fair to the blue people, it's going to be, some of them are, a handful of them are going to be blue related.
I know you're going to know the broadcast questions
Right.
because I know how deeply you care about FIS.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and if you don't, it means, you don't care.
Well, that's why whenever I have a question, I get a hold of the fine people from FIS
Oh,
Blue
God.
for information.
Here we go. He's
Okay.
backing out already. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to start out with an easy one.
What Bob doesn't know is that Val and Steve want to prank him by having all the answers. Continue to watch for the educational entertainment and the reveal.
Okay.
Just to wet the palate.
Yeah.
Right? It's like your sorbet, between.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you an easy one.
Okay.
So you got papers and pens.
Yep.
All right. How many days in a year?
How many days
Yeah,
in a year?
write it down. Let's get an answer.
All right.
You see how Bob puts his hand over it? He's very intense.
Oh,
when it comes
okay.
to Beat
Yeah.
the
All
Bob.
right. I'll hide.
Okay.
And we're assuming non-leap years?
I don't know. What are we assuming, Bob?
Okay, never mind. I know the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it, Bob?
365 days and a quarter.
And a quarter?
Yeah.
Oh, and I thought you meant a quarter of it. So 365.25.
Yeah.
So you had to write 365.25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. He
So-
did.
Okay.
He
all right.
did. So that,
I got it,
That was
yeah.
easy, right? Okay, so we're gonna do Alan, Steve, and Bob. Okay, so we got 1-1. All right, next question. Don't look at my paper, Bob. What are the top 3 Uses of fiber optics in broadcast. So in broadcast, what are your top 3? And there's 4 acceptable answers. We'll take 3.
What are the acceptable what again?
The acceptable
What are the uses? Where do we use fiber optics in broadcast?
in broadcast?
Oh, okay.
And we'll do top 3. There's 4. You need to write something.
I'm trying to think.
Something, anything.
Like where? Like geographically?
No,
where?
think
No,
like
where
industry.
does the where
You
does
mean
the product get
applications,
put in?
right?
Yeah.
Application.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
All
better. I
right.
see you're just writing so much. What is he writing?
Live events.
You know, okay,
we could probably give that to
Yeah,
him
we
and-
gotta
yeah.
give him
I'm
something.
thinking like, golf course coverage, golf tournament.
Okay, what else you got?
Okay, so video is what you're saying.
Video,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Boy, 33.3. 333. Okay, boy, he's really doodling. You got him?
I got 2.
Okay.
Do I have to do more?
Well, it was
3 you
3.
said.
Yeah,
I think
said
I want
3.
want credit for this one because
Okay.
can I give the answer since
Yeah,
I
let's
think
give the
you timed
answers.
out.
Yeah,
I think
what's
you
the
timed
answer?
Yeah, I'm timed out.
Okay, so video,
Yeah.
HDTV,
Yeah.
audio,
Yeah.
and lighting.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. What, what
Okay.
did you have?
I put like remote control applications.
Okay,
What do I-
we'll give them 3 points and you'll get 1.
Okay, all right.
Okay. This one, again, another softball. This is a sorbet. Everyone knows this answer. What is the atomic weight of copper?
Are you kidding?
We all know that, right?
I don't. I'm out on that
Okay.
one.
Bob, you gotta know atomic weight. I mean, I thought this was just common.
How the hell am I gonna know the atomic weight
I know.
of
I
copper?
mean,
Everyone knows this one.
Is it in grams or what is it in? At least give me the unit.
It's not grams.
Newtons or something?
I know the
Newtons
answer.
is force. What's the answer?
And the only reason I know the answer is because we were dealing with some copper cables recently,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
63.557.
Well, you had it to the 3rd digit. He's 100% right. He's 100% right.
Wow.
Look, right there, Bob.
I believe you. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I threw that in there to be kind of mean because I thought that was tough, but we'll give it
And
wow.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What are
Wow.
the 2 most popular connectors in the broadcast industry? So there's 3. Well, yeah, 3 or 4. Give me 2. What are the popular connectors in the? And this is centric to them.
this is
too.
it. I mean, this is easy for us.
Yeah.
Okay. D999?
Yeah, that's not for broadcast. We're pretending you didn't
Oh,
say that.
broadcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, broadcast. Yeah, you didn't say military.
T-Foca?
No.
No. Any other shots you want to take? We just defined one. I literally asked you what it meant.
Yeah, you said
Synergy.
Yeah. What else?
we spoke about them.
Yeah, we talked about another one too.
Oh, jeez.
Had little ball bearings in it.
Little
Oh, yeah,
yogurt.
expanded beam.
Okay,
There
there's
you
2.
go.
All right, you're not gonna get the other ones. Anyone else? What's the other
Optical
one?
con.
Optical con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 3 more for them, 1 for Bob.
2.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah, wait.
Oh, we'll give you 2. Well, yeah, you're right. Beat the Bob. It's more like whoop the Bob.
Yeah.
We said this too, so you have to remember.
Okay.
If you put fiber optics on a cruise ship, what certification does it require?
I'll put the one that we use, the
Okay.
certification that we use.
Okay.
How's that?
This is easy for us. Sorry, Bob.
There's so many standards you got.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Go with NIST.
Okay,
Oh,
no.
that's cybersecurity.
Yep.
Close.
Steve?
Using one of the classification
Yep.
societies because there's many, but ABS, because that's
ABS
what our
rating,
cable
yep.
is.
Yeah.
Certified.
We talked about that, so we pay attention.
American Bureau of Shipping.
All
by the way.
right, this one's kind of a jerky move, but what is the 45th digit of pi?
I mean,
Come on, what is the 45th digit?
we
Wait,
gotta-
look at
he's calculating. We got a,
1 in 10 chance.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got?
I'm just gonna say 7.
No, what is it?
9.
see?
Oh my
see?
God.
I didn't
Oh
even-
my God, he got 9.
The secret weapon.
Wow. I can do 3.14159. I can.
There's
get
gotta
that.
be some sort of
Pi doesn't repeat ever. That's the magic of pi. So they've put it in computers, right?
It goes indefinitely, right?
To infinity. There's no, okay, here's where it repeats itself, right? The pattern it doesn't.
Jeez.
I've seen that question before.
Ah.
Yeah.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What does ITAR stand for? He said that
Oh, we
already.
said this. Okay. Well, you know what the first letters of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You weren't paying attention to every
We'll
word we
let
said.
we want valid in
Yeah.
this one? What do you got?
It's
ahead.
International Traffic in Arms Regulation.
Yep,
I
that
got
was-
the I and the R.
Very good.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
We got a little speed round with just a couple, and then the bonus answer. The bonus one. This one is worth 5 points. The bonus worth 5, so you can get back into it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. What connectors used most by the U.S. Army?
By the U.S. Army?
You're sweating. Yep. Nope, not that one.
It's not a standard connector.
Sure is.
Yep.
ST?
No, boom.
T-FOCA.
T-FOCA.
Yep.
Well, I said is it a standard
Well,
connector?
T-FOCA
It's a
is
standard
standard.
connector.
I thought you meant like, you know,
We're talking about blue here. Did you think it was going to be ST?
mil-spec ST.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
we use the word mill.
Yeah.
Okay, Navy. What's their most popular connector?
I might know this. Wait, what was the last answer?
T-FOCA.
T-FOCA.
The Navy?
I'll give you credit. We didn't.
Expanded beam.
No.
No.
What is it?
M28876.
Yeah, M28876.
Yeah.
Okay, Air Force. U.S. Air Force.
I think
Oh,
you need to
wait.
spend the
Oh.
day at Blue.
He's got it. Yeah, or a week. He's got it.
Wait,
Look
Air
at the
Force?
brain.
Wait, no, so it could have...
This came out of your mouth, so you could
Yeah. You
recall
said
it.
it.
You
Yes,
said
you
it.
did say it. Now I gotta give him something, right?
I know.
T-FOCA?
No!
No, you misspoke
Duh.
there.
Duh.
D.
D999. Oh, okay.
D3 triple 889.
I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
He needs points. We're gonna do that. All right.
Needs a point.
Okay.
D3, yeah.
This one, Bob, get yourself a new sheet of paper because you have to write down a couple numbers. Okay. This was pulled. This is just a basic physics question, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very
No, no,
basic.
no.
I never
It's
took
very
physics.
basic. Well, you're smart mathematically. You're smart.
Not really, no.
All right, we'll write this down, right?
Historically.
What kind
Okay.
of teacher were you about? Just
History.
History.
Okay,
Political
so
science,
math
yeah.
isn't his.
It's not
No.
his forte, but
I needed a tutor to pass 11th
Okay.
grade math.
Well, that's why I'm not even answering this
Okay.
one, but go ahead.
oh, we'll just.
Give us-
It's
We were
Steve
poli
and
sci
Bob.
majors.
Bonus 5 points for this one.
Okay.
Write this down, Bob. An archer. So this is a bow and arrow question. An
Okay.
archer pulls back
Yeah.
0.75 meters.
God, I hate these.
Okay, right.
Okay.
0.75 meters. Right on a bow, which has a stiffness of 20 newtons per meter. Or I'm sorry, 200 newtons per meter. I'm sorry. It's 200 newtons per meter. The arrow weighs 50 grams. Okay, write the 50 grams. What is the velocity of the arrow immediately after release? So it's going to be meters per second. So he pulls back 0.75 meters and has a stiffness of 20 newtons per meter.
I thought you said 200.
I'm sorry, 200. I did it again. Yep. Like that's important. The arrow weighs 50 grams. What's the velocity of the arrow immediately after release? Meters per second. It's an easy math question.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to set it up.
Steve's really, I mean, look at the numbers. Okay, Bob, we'll let you go first. What do you, what is,
according to my,
Calculations.
calculations,
Yes.
I would say 1.5 meters per second.
no.
10.5.
No one's going to get this. What'd you get?
I've got 47.4 meters per second.
What's that say?
I
Look at the bold number. Top, at the top.
47.4 meters per second.
Bang!
Wow.
Bang!
So you got to tell me, how did
Wow.
you calculate?
Well, I actually put the answer down here.
Right there.
Yeah. So you have to figure out potential energy. So you do 1/2 k times x squared, where k is the stiffness and x is the amount of spring. Those are the numbers I gave you. The potential energy, when you do that, it's 1/2 times 200 times 0.75 squared is 56.25 joules. The kinetic energy of the particle is 1/2 mv squared, where mass is in velocity. So the arrow
You
can
have
be
to assume that
treated.
energy is conserved as well.
I can't.
The arrow can be treated as a particle since it's not rotating upon release. Therefore, kinetic energy of the arrow is 1/2 0.05 v squared. If we assume energy is conserved,
You have to
see,
do
look at that. Solving for the velocity for v, we get 47.4 meters per second.
Wow.
Can we talk about superstars again?
Oh
'Cause,
my
like,
God!
this
I
is
mean,
really-
that one I thought you guys would just go, oh, that's a not answerable question.
Yeah.
Just joking.
That's what I said.
Well, let's look at the final scores, Bob.
At least I got 5.
So Bob got 5. We got 5, 10, 15, 16, 18 to 5. Bob, how do you feel
A
about
little
yours?
unfair because it was our industry, but I thought
little,
maybe you'd read
little.
up on us a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the letters and numbers kind of throw me off.
You got to be impressed with the calculation that he did.
Oh yeah, I mean
He was squaring stuff, and
It's
he didn't have
actually-
to
Listen,
calculate.
I think it's a little bit savant-like, if
Almost,
I may go
almost.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve.
Thanks
you,
for
buddy.
coming.
Just bravo.
I mean that might be probably one of the top 10 most impressive things I've ever seen.
in your life.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll be honest, I'm impressed too.
yeah.
Because I looked it up, and I had to look at the formulas. There's no way I would have come up with that.
Yeah, I mean,
What,
You
what do
could've given me-
attribute that to?
I did a lot of engineering.
Okay.
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 So,
Wow. Wow. I just can't tell you. I thought, I even showed Jeff the question earlier, and he was like, that's just dumb that you're asking that question. I honestly, God, cannot believe that you got that answer. Wow. I mean, look at the answer there, Bob. I thought
So what do we get as guests that beat Bob?
you beat the Bob.
Yeah, what happens when we beat
this
the Bob?
is, okay, so this is kind of my closing.
is this, do you do this always on the podcast?
Yes.
I think we're gonna beat the Bobs. Yeah, we need Bob to win at one point. You know, we might get like a 6th grader
So
in here.
this is so,
What I should do is prep beforehand, but no, that's not fair.
You don't,
though,
but you
right?
don't
No,
know
you
what
gotta
the
prep. Well, no, because if you know who the guests
If
are,
you know the
can-
guess, yeah, you could probably guess what the questions are gonna be.
Yeah.
So
I didn't expect those sort of questions.
he got pied to the 45th digit.
Yeah.
No,
But that's because I've seen that question before.
okay.
And I don't
mean,
know why you-
45 is random, but whatever.
No, it's not actually.
Okay.
Somebody's studying his Mensa cards.
Yeah. So, okay. Valerie saw me outside of here, and she said, "Oh, I guess it's an Expo-sponsored podcast." And I saw you had an FIS shirt, and I said, "Well, everything's done intentionally. I wore this shirt intentionally, and what's the reason for this?" So I'm going to ask Bob a question, and I'm going to ask myself the same question. So, Bob, do you have any FIS Blue swag or anything? Anything with FIS Blue on it? 'Cause I see my guests here have FIS Blue shirts on.
Mhm.
Do you have anything? Like a hat,
No.
keychain, anything? Nothing.
Wait.
Wait.
I got something from the golf tournament. It was a
Oh.
ball marker, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't
Right.
it a koozie?
Yeah, a koozie.
Oh, it was a koozie. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we want people to drink more beer.
I brought those
But the
koozies on my
Foster's
trip to
cans
New
are
York
too
City.
big.
Oh,
They don't.
very nice.
They're too big. They don't
They
fit.
they call those the oil cans, the big ones.
They do?
Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah.
We call them pounders. It's the 16 ounces.
You should have koozies for the Foster's cans.
Well, I just said that. I said, well, that's useless because I drink Foster's because he's my hero. I have no blue swag
Okay, well, we will
either.
definitely
Well, I'm not
change that.
insinuating anything. I'm just saying, 28,
So it's taken
29.
this long for him just to say he wants something from.
I didn't say that. See, you're putting words in my mouth. I just said I don't have any of your stuff.
Okay, got it. Got the.
Do you have
Special,
any
Very clear.
special order going in today.
FIS
Very clear.
university shirts at all?
No,
No?
no.
No.
Huh. Wonder why
We'd
you
love
don't.
one.
I wonder why you
We
don't.
can grab you one after the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
Or not.
there's-
Or not, Bob. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
I see.
all joking aside, Mr. Bolitho, right?
Got it right.
I got it?
You got it right.
Stevie B,
Yeah, Stevie
if you
B.
like.
and the place to be. Appreciate you guys coming.
Yeah, thank you for having us
Thank you
on.
very much.
You know that we're big cheerleaders for you guys. Whenever I see in your meeting with the stuff that you're doing, I'm always like, good for them. I really am.
I wanted to do
Really
one more
do.
question. The
Yeah.
dinner question. I'm going to do this.
This
time.
is Bob has this question that he asks at the end of every podcast, and I like the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we go.
Yeah. So can't be the question where you're going to answer. It can't be either of you.
Okay.
But if you're,
And it can't be a made-up person either, right?
Yes.
Or is that okay?
well, for the foxhole, let's be a real person.
Okay, okay.
So theoretically, you're in a foxhole, right? And
Taking fire.
taking down enemy fire, right? Who would you want in that foxhole with you to get out of there?
Brian Grace.
Brian Grace.
Who's Brian
Who's
Grace?
Brian Grace?
I was in the military before I joined the maritime industry, and let's just say that guy has a particular set of skills.
Okay. Another one where you can't tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Jim Rabia, who
Okay.
his son,
Oh,
who
God.
just graduated in Special Forces,
Yeah.
and I'm
that's
not
right,
sure
yeah.
which one it was, but
I'm not sure of the boys which one that was, but
Yeah.
his kids are so
All-
proud.
all these sons.
all West Point
Oh, my
graduates,
God.
and so yeah, I would.
And
take
you look
him.
at Jim, and you don't even know how he ties his shoes in the morning. You know?
Jim's a great guy.
He's awesome.
You have to say that. You're on
No,
air.
no.
No,
So
Jim,
that's who I would. Yeah, but that's
Jim
who we would take
runs
him.
Firmer Precision.
Yep.
So, okay.
And so the last
And the
question
last one.
would be, so you get to have dinner, 2-3 hour dinner, whatever, with 3 people. Dead or,
And it could be dead or alive.
dead or alive. Who would you choose to have dinner with?
Okay.
Oh, he's thinking. Look at that. He's still thinking about the bow and arrow question.
No.
Okay, so do you want me to go
Yeah, you
first?
wanna go
Okay.
first, yeah.
So I think I would like to have dinner with Mother Teresa because
Okay.
wow, talk
Well,
about
yeah.
gratitude and
Yeah,
living a life
yeah.
of kindness. I would like to have dinner with a politician, like
Which
a famous one.
Okay.
Maybe like George Washington.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. That's
Nice.
not a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's do something fun. So politics, religion, and rock star.
There you go.
Oh, which
Yeah.
rock star?
Let
God,
me
there's
think.
so many.
I know.
You'd be John Lennon, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or Paul McCartney, actually.
You know, I'm thinking like Janis Joplin.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Big man?
King Henry VIII.
Nice.
I am.
Yep. Trevor Chappell.
Again, this is
Don't
the
know.
Australian coming on.
That guy's Australian, but he's infamous, not famous, but infamous. Right?
For what?
Australia was playing New Zealand in a cricket match,
Oh, here we go.
and although it was in the rules, they decided that they were going to bowl an underarm ball to New Zealand, basically guaranteeing that Australia would win. I would like to really hear from him
Why he did it?
why he did it, right?
Okay.
I mean, I know that they would win the match if they did it, but what was going through his mind at the point that he was doing it was very infamous, right?
Okay.
And because I'm not allowed to go to dinner with my wife, right,
Right.
who is beautiful and wonderful,
Oh,
I would
God.
have to go to dinner with Elle Macpherson.
That's the Australian supermodel.
Really?
So there's someone we saw in Miami. We were eating dinner in
You
a
saw her?
restaurant, and they used to call her the body.
Yeah.
So she stands up and she breezes by us,
Yeah.
and she is.
Was it like a golden light coming
And
off
he,
of her?
I never saw him
He
look
passed
so
out?
happy. Yeah.
Not true.
Oh, not true.
Yeah,
You
but
see
he
his
picked-
face
yeah,
right now? He's
but
got a
he
little
picked-
red.
He picked out McPherson,
Helmet
didn't he?
Pearson.
So.
Well, I'll be honest. I've looked at Val and thought, why is Elle McPherson here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why he picked me.
That's what I see
definitely.
every day.
Yeah.
I can see
So
why.
funny.
So funny.
Thank you,
thanks,
guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so very much.
Yeah.
Sorry about Beat the Bob. If we
Oh,
want to
no.
redo those scores again, 18-5. And some of those were
Can't win them all,
gimmies.
I think we get the shirt. I think we get the shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get them the shirt.
All right.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look ahead for some more podcasts. Like I said, I'm going to try to start getting people outside of FIS, like some Corning or Expo, or Ritsu guys. So just look ahead to see who we're going to do. It'll be a surprise to me and you. So thank you guys. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Steve. It was awesome.
Yes.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Take it away, Jeff.
You can.
What happened?
You can.
Yeah, those are all those questions.
Conservation of energy, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ.
And I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
You know what I'm saying is the top 10 most impressive thing
That's
I've
why
ever seen in my
I
life.
said, you said, I said it in your life. You're like, yeah!